Good evening and welcome to the Channel Studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Authorities in Australia have announced they will reopen their international borders from November, giving long-awaited freedoms to vaccinated citizens and their relatives.
Will be time very soon.
Prime Minister Scott Morrison has said that it was time to give Australians their lives back. Since March 2020, Australia has had some of the world's strictest border rules, even banning its own people from leaving the country. The policy has been praised for helping to suppress COVID-19, but it has also controversially separated families. Footage has been released showing Ecuadorian police trying to restore order at one of the country's largest prisons after a riot killed 118 inmates. Images show soldiers searching prison cells for weapons. Police Commander Tanya Varela explained to reporters that they were searching for those who had started the riot. Families have been gathering outside a morgue in Guayaquil to find out what has happened to their loved ones. The gang-related violence is the worst in Ecuador's history. North Korea has said it has test-fired a new anti-aircraft missile, its fourth weapons test in under a month. The latest test comes days after North Korea launched a new hypersonic missile, which is believed to have nuclear capabilities. Pyongyang says its weapons are needed for self-defense, accusing the US and South Korea of double standards. Meanwhile, South Korea has marked its 73rd Armed Forces Day with air and sea drills and a ceremony attended by President Moon Jae-in. Moon has declared that the government and the military will sternly respond to any action threatening his people's lives and safety without referring directly to North Korea. Video shows soldiers and amphibious assault vehicles, smoke shells exploding, and helicopters firing flares. US President Joe Biden has suffered a setback after Congress delayed a vote on a $1 trillion infrastructure plan.
Dollars apart, how do you bridge this gap?
We're not trillions.
Part of his Democratic Party refuses to move forward with the plan until Congress signs off on a separate $3.5 trillion plan on welfare and climate change. The head of the World Bank, David Malpass, has said Sudan's economic situation is gradually improving but will require patience.
Sudan is making a transition from...
Malpass is the World Bank's first president in decades to visit Sudan, which faced extensive sanctions under former leader Bashir. Many Sudanese are struggling with poverty, shortages of medicines, and power cuts. An estimated 20,000 Sudanese people have protested in the capital Khartoum in support of a civilian-led transition to democracy after an attempted coup last week. Drone footage shows the continued lava flow into the sea on the island of La Palma. The lava from the volcano, which has been erupting for 10 days, has destroyed more than 800 buildings. On reaching the water, it cools rapidly and binds itself to the cliffside. Emergency services warned that ash thrown out from the crater was blocking sunlight and reducing visibility. Celebrations to mark the 72nd anniversary of the founding of the People's Republic of China have taken place in Beijing's Tiananmen Square. More than 100,000 people gathered at the square to watch the national flag being raised. China's Bei aerobatic team and unmanned aerial vehicles also gave special colourful performances. After years of controversy, Japan's Princess Mako will marry her former classmate, a commoner, on the 26th of October and give up her royal status. The couple were initially set to wed in 2018, but that was put off reportedly after accounts Komuro's family had run into financial difficulties. Their movements have been heavily covered in local media, which has caused the princess to reportedly suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder. And finally, Russia has been hosting its first royal wedding in more than a century, with aristocrats travelling from across Europe for the lavish ceremony. Grand Duke George Mikhailovich Romanov and his Italian fiancée Rebecca Virginia Betterini have said their vows at St. Isaac's Cathedral in the former imperial capital, St. Petersburg, in the presence of dozens of European royals. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel Studios in Lagos.